We are live this morning with the one, the only, the most beautiful human I know on the inside, Rakel Chafir, author of Free Your Body, which just released yesterday. We are going to dig into this book and allow you to experience some more freedom and joy and energy and strength in your life. How about that? Rakel.
Woo, thank you. So excited to be with my girl. It's so cool to be here. I watch your live stream, and Amber has the kind of combination that I like to teach my client, which is this ability to be present. Maybe you guys watched that little snippet I created for her, and it's this really good natural ability to drop in and share coming from her heart, which we all should learn and we should all use to make our message more impactful. So super excited to be here.
Thank you so much. So this is Free Your Body, 7 steps to get the body you desire and the freedom that you deserve. Buy now on Amazon. You're going to get some amazing bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful photos of Rakel. You know, Rakel came into my world just a few months ago. And, you know, I remember her talking about her book and how it's different than most other like weight loss books, right? Because it's really, she has done deep research and really studied the neuroscience. She's talking about the sympathetic nervous system. I mean, she's talking about what's actually happening in our bodies that then can contribute to weight gain or just more irritability or just feeling, you know, weighted down. I know that a lot of people in the NGNG community right now have been dealing with a lot of turmoil over everything that's happened this year. And so some of the things that I hit on, Rakel sent out a beautiful message to the community yesterday all about my feelings towards you, which are so big. She's really captured my heart in the past few months, like so hard. But when I read the book, there were a few things that really stuck out to me personally about releasing emotional weight. And we don't always think about that, right? I'm going to stop sharing the screen here so we can see your beautiful face more.
Thank you. I think that the biggest problem is that we don't think at all about our physical weight or the issue with our physical weight being in any way linked to the emotional weight that we carry on our body. And when women, a lot of women and even guys talk about weight loss, they're not really tapping into the power of weight release and the connection between the emotional weight that we carry, the stress, the anxiety, the fear. And I like to think of the extra weight as this armor of protection that we put on our body, right? Almost like this heavy coat. So I don't think that there are people out there, even the heaviest of us, are people that are wearing a heavy coat, something that we need for protection. And every animal, every being puts on a protection during winter, during coldest seasons, to protect ourselves from being wounded. And we live in a world where we feel triggered and wounded at all time. So the issue for me is not so much that I want women to release weight, to look a certain way. I really don't care about that. I want women to be able to step into their truth, and men too, by the way. Although I wrote my book predominantly for women because I do believe that women have it harder in the society. We have been told that we need to look a certain way, and they have a very different, strong perception of body weight as a form of defining your worth. So I wrote it for women. But in any event, I do believe the issue is not just being overweight or getting more weight or not wanting to look the way that we desire, but rather that the way the emotional eating and all of this stuff becomes an excuse, a block that prevents us from really showing up fully into our lives. Because until we feel at peace and confident in our own skin, we cannot go ahead and be 100% in that live stream or in that conversation, in that parenting, because we carry that. And I suffer from that. I suffer from major insecurity in my life. And the saddest part of it is that I feel it prevented me from being fully present to, the moments of my life that were incredible, because it takes you away. When you don't like yourself, it takes you away. You could be in front of the most gorgeous sunset or the most incredible space in nature, but that feeling of not feeling good enough pulls you away and triggers you to remember all sorts of traumatic events that we carry in from our childhood. All that weight shows up at once. So we may be, 140 pounds, 120 pounds, 100 pounds, 300 pounds, but we're really 1,000 pounds heavy. And that's especially this year. I think we're super heavy this year. Super heavy. We are like trucks going stuck at home, but feeling like that. At least that's for me and what I see in my clients, that's the challenge that I see mostly.
That's right. I mean, Rakel and I have been talking about what we observe in our clients and in the world. We're both empathetic people. We're both sensitive people. So when that is you, it's a blessing in so many ways, and it's really challenging in other ways, because you feel people's pain, and gosh, it's real. It is real. So learning about how to self-regulate becomes really important. Learning balance, learning more about your body. And that's what this book does. And it's going to help you in so many different areas of your life. But I definitely want to touch into self-regulation for a moment, Rakel, because I feel like I can remember back in times where I knew I was off, but I didn't know just how much I was off until I had some stark contrast that woke me up to like, oh my gosh, look at what I've been doing. So when we're in that kind of fog, we don't really know consciously just how deep into the fog we are. Is there something that we can do? Is there a self-regulation tool or activity or just some wisdom that you want to share to get us, more into our bodies, and to then purge some of that out to show up as our free?
Absolutely. I mean, in the book, I share 12 guidelines that help you to rewire your brain to self-regulate, because here's the thing. We do believe that, and I've been doing this 5-day challenge, and all the comments I'm getting from women, I'm like, thank you so much. I thought there was something wrong with me. I didn't have willpower. And now I know that it's just my brain. Yeah, our brain is wired in a way, and it's wired in a way to disconnect, because the truth is, at some point in our lives when we were children, certain traumatic experiences made it so hard on us to cope that the only way we could do it was to shut down, right? To pull back, to desensitize, to anesthetize. And a lot of us did that with food. We did that with distraction, with some of us with alcohol. It depends. But we want to pull away because in that moment, it's just too much to cope with. And then what happens is that we become adults, and we know we have the tools to cope with it, but our habit is not to cope. Our habit is to believe, if I'm present to my feeling, if I'm present to that fog, if I'm present to that discomfort, then I won't be able to handle it. And normally this is even, habits created even before, within the first 7 years of our lives, when some elements of being judged or disliked or picked on. And it doesn't have to be like this huge, big ass, trauma, because that's the biggest problem when I face with women. Sometimes they say, but I have a nice childhood. I'm like, yeah, me too. But it's not so much just what happens, it's how it impacted you, and the way it impacts us and the way we want to pull back, it creates in the brain this memory, in the nervous system, in the body, this memory that says, it's unsafe to feel, right? It's unsafe to process. Let's pull back. So how do we get back? We get back by resensitizing the body, right? By reestablishing the presence, by becoming more present to our senses, whether it is, smells, taste, touch, gravity. Sense of gravity is a strong one. It activates the prefrontal cortex of our brain, because when you feel grounded in your feet, even now, I'm sure, like, I don't know how you have your feet now sitting down, but
my legs are crossed.
Mine too. Everybody who's watching this video to uncross your feet and put your feet down and feel the difference. Just when you put your feet down and you feel like the ground, there is an immediate activation. We move from, kind of like the more primitive part of our brain to the part that's more creative. The solution, the confidence is that. So our body is the greatest asset to transform your energy. Just by shifting your posture, by activating your sense of gravity, activating the core, breathing consciously, activating the belly button and pulling it into the spine as you breathe, you shift the way you think and you access more creative solutions. So there's an urgency for that, right? There's a massive urgency. On top of that, food is huge to help us, because food is the first thing we ever received. Food is for a baby, and you have a young son, so you've been through the whole feeding just now.
Oh yeah.
But you have that moment of connection, right, when you feed your baby. And even now, that is like 3 years old, there's that moment of connection. And food become like love. Food is the first thing that we get as infants that connects us to our mother or our caretaker. So when we have dysfunction around food, a misalignment around the way we feel about food, and something that is not easy, is not flowy, then we really have a misconnection with love. And later on, what else becomes form of love? Money, right? Money becomes like a big form of how we show love, of how we consider love, success, the approval rate, and all of that. So when we go and heal our relationship with food and with our body, we go into the root of our discomfort, and we have an opportunity to heal far more than our body image. We unleash and fast track our ability to release much more than that and find more ease, because that's really the root of who we are. We come into this world feeling great about our body, not knowing where our body ends and when the world begins. And we love ourselves. Each little boy, little girl love ourselves. They don't care if one potty trained before the other. They don't care if one start eating solid food more than the other. They don't care. They're great, right? And then the parenting comes in, and the schooling comes in, and the culture comes in and start telling you, oh no, you know what? Amber is better than you, Rakel, because Amber started pooping in her toilet before you. And then, oh my God, really? It's as silly as it sounds, that's how it goes. We begin to understand that our worth is measurable and comparable to another human. And that's where the whole thing begins. And never ends. And then it's like, oh, my book is number 8. It should be a number 5 or number 1. We were talking about that before. All those moments is reawakening, that first moment in your life when you realize that, holy shit, I don't get to be good enough just because I am. That's the heaviness of the moment that we need to release, right? And our relationship with our body, sinking that truth into your body, is allowing for massive healing, massive bounce back into your truth, massive presence into your message. So that's why we need it. It's not just so much because, yeah, of course, the average woman thinks about food and her body way more than sex. Way more than men think about sex. I wanted to say, and men apparently think about sex. It's scary. It's like, I don't know how many hundreds of times a day. It's like horrifying. But apparently we think about like food and body images more than men think about sex. That's insane. We have brilliant mind as women. We need to use that mind to do things. There's a lot of work to do in the world. So yes, I want to help women heal with that, but it's bigger than that. It's really like having an opportunity to heal the raw wound, that one moment in which you define yourself over not just being fully present to your worth. So that's what the whole book is about. Allowing you to get there. Yeah.
Gosh, you guys, I just feel like the luckiest person on earth to have the honor of working with people like Rakel. I mean, if you've been awake at all in the past 5 minutes and just hearing her truth and that message, and it's backed by science, but her passion and her belief around it is so strong, and she's right. She is 100% right. And the entire methodology, the structure to move through it is all in her book. Go to her website. You're going to get 5 amazing bonuses today. Guys, you know how it is. Many of you are authors. Many of you are speakers. We really want to try to help Rakel hit number 1. She's this close to doing it today. So
Yeah, show up, people, show up.
buy a copy today, but don't just buy a copy for you. This book, I'm telling you, it's an easy read. It's a wonderful read. You get a sense of her personality. It's funny. It's just it wraps you, and it's a beautiful feeling when you're reading the book. This is a perfect Christmas gift, giving it to your team so that they are really using their body in the most powerful way to show up for you in the workplace. She's doing speaking for small teams and masterminds, virtual trainings, anything like that. So I really want to give people a range of the different ways that they can experience you, Rakel. But I want to talk a little bit about your audience. Like, what is the type of person that's coming to you right now for coaching, and what are some of the challenges that they're dealing with right now, just so that the audience gets a sense of if they're a right fit for you?
Well, a lot of my clients happen to be high-level executives, or they are entrepreneur themselves. They're a business owner, but a high-level executive in the luxury brands, high-level luxury brands. And they have had the challenge of feeling like their entire sense of worth and being has been sucked up by their performance. So they're having a hard time being in touch with themselves. There's very little joy. There's always this need to produce, need to prove, need to deserve. And what's happening is they're not even using their full body to show up and help them succeed in those things. Because here's the thing, I'm not suggesting any of them or you that you should not be ambitious or go for that success. Hell yeah, go for that success, even bigger, but use what you got, right? Use what you got. So an example that I was giving somebody the other day, you know them scenes from The Matrix where they, at the end, there's Neo and Trinity, and they go in and they're dropped in their bags, and there's a metal detectors, but they're full of weapon, and he opens the code, like a million guns. That's what we have with our body. We have like these million guns underneath, but we are out there looking for, for a baseball bat. Excuse me, do you have a baseball bat? Do you have a baseball? You got this. Use it. Use it. People want to feel you. People want to connect. You have a message. You have a business. You have an idea. You have an important thing to do. Okay, now grab what you have and use it to show up fully so that you can actually be felt and you can get that success that you desire by coming from a place of growth, from a place of presence, from a place that makes you and leaves you feeling even more nurtured rather than depleted. Here's the thing. If you are using your energy right, by the time you're done with your presentation, you should feel like you just had so much energy and you're rocking it and you have more energy than when you started. If you finish your presentation and you're feeling exhausted, depleted, burned out, that means you are leaning on the wrong, thing within you. You sucking some other part of yourself that is not working for you. So yeah, go for that success, even bigger than you ever did, but do it in a way that your effort, your venture nurtures you and elevates you and everybody else, not in a way that depletes you and shuts you down and denies you as a human. So if you do it right, if you know how to use your body, if you know how to tap into that, how to be resourceful and resilient with that, then I think we're on the right track.
I don't even know what to do with the energy I feel inside right now, because one of the things that I'm feeling is just such immense gratitude that I've met somebody who can articulate the things that I've been experiencing. Because I'll tell you guys as a reminder, the Amber that you see today is not the Amber that was in the first half of her life. I mean, I was sluggish. I was an introvert. I was an observer. I had low confidence. I didn't believe in myself. I was lazy. I didn't have great follow through. Certainly not this bright energy that you're seeing today. I learned how to get into my body and how to generate that kind of energy in exactly the way that you're talking, where I can leave a moment like this and feel nurtured. I'm being fed through this experience right now,
Mm-hmm.
even as that more introverted self. So it can do wonders, especially if you're introverted. I love that Brendon Burchard quote. I say it all the time, that the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy.
Oh.
So it's just so nice that you get it. Now, Rakel, we do have a lot of authors and speakers, entrepreneurs that are watching us right now. These are people that do feel challenged by performance, right? Through live streaming, they look at me and they're like, "Well, I'm not like Amber. I can't do that," which is totally not true. We both know that. Are there some tips or exercises or anything that comes to mind that maybe you do that helps get you in your body before a moment like this so that you can drive that energy through the webcam? People feel like you're talking directly to them. They're connected with you. They're energized themselves while also protecting your personal energy. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, first of all, I think the biggest thing is to step out of the way. To fully step out of the way, because it's not true. Okay, I don't care who you are. You are not born insecure. You learn how to be insecure. You were born fully secure. So go look at any 1-year-old and tell me if there's one insecure 1-year-old. Then introduce the boy or the girl to me, because I want to know what happened to them. Because we are born secure. If you are passionate about what you're talking about, it's not about you. Right? So this is something I do. When I go in, I first of all remind myself that it's not about me, because if I make the live stream or the event or the client session about how Rakel feels, Rakel has a lot of insecurities. I carry them, I deal with them, I work through them, I release them. Thank you. So, so the insecurities, it's not something that you are just going to shut down, part of your life.
Right.
But I'm about the message. So I'm stepping out of the way and say, okay, girl, we got to do this. Who is this for? What's the message? Who needs it? So it's about your audience. It's not about you. And if you think it's about you, reframe why you're doing this, because it cannot be about you. Okay? If you are here in this moment of giving, if you're an author, a service provider, you have to provide. You have to make it about them. You get to be excited for them. It's not about you and what happened to me. I mean, I was telling Amber 5 minutes before getting on this live stream, my son got tested for COVID. I'm freaking the F out, right? And it's not that I'm an irresponsible parent. I have to just say, okay, hold on. Let's put this one moment. Here's what I am. I'm going to put that in. We're going to freak out in about half an hour. Right now, what do people need to hear, right? Because I am committed as an entrepreneur, I'm committed as an author and as a person who's there to teach. So whether you're going to buy my book or not, hear this. You're not insecure. You were not born insecure. You can put that on a side. The other thing you could do to get in your body is to use body movement and music. Now, I don't know if you guys ever watched Tony Robbins jumping on the trampoline. There's something happened with the trampoline. There is an activation of gravity. You remember before I told you about gravity, putting your feet on the ground, feeling your feet rooted in the ground. That's gravity. It's activate the prefrontal cortex of your brain. So by jumping, doing anything, squatting, anything that will activate your lower body, not crossing your feet like Amber was doing, but pulling it on the ground and feeling
it again.
It wakes you up. It brings you in, right? And that's how, in a way, when you activate your lower body, your voice tone changes. You get more in your core. You get more present. You're less in your head. Because what happens in our head? There are the voices in the head, right?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you heard that? Did you check out your hair? Check out your hair. Maybe we should have fixed that 5 minutes ago. Oh, well, but I have no time. No, check out your hair. That's dialogue. We're human.
Right.
We are spirit having a human experience, but we're having a freaking human experience. So you cannot wait for the moment to be perfect, for you to be perfect, for you to feel ready, for you to feel good enough. It's about not being about you. That's all I gotta say
You
about
just
that.
gotta show up.
Like a million skills you can do that I teach my clients about activating, like, the perimeter of your body, using your hands, bringing energy in your hands. There's movement techniques, there's posture techniques. You can take a victory stand, victory position, and just go through that. There's a million things you can do. But the biggest thing I feel is to be clear as to why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Above all, why are you showing up?
I agree completely. It's not about you. It's about the person that you're speaking to, remembering your why, moving, getting into your body. Music helps me breathing, right? And when I'll just jot down a couple of notes of like what I really want to accomplish on whatever I'm speaking on. But I don't write it out fully scripted because I want to be present to the energy, to the people in the room. And I want it to be this like living, breathing experience that we're all in it together, like a heartbeat. Look, Rakel, I know you're about to go live with New York Times bestselling author Gabby Bernstein through her Instagram channels. Hundreds of thousands of people are about to hear you speak. Want to make sure you have a minute at least to just take a beat before that experience. So thank you for being here. Any last pieces of wisdom that you want to share with the NGNG community today?
Well, I just want to say that, given your audience, given that you have these incredible authors, I've checked out some of them. They're so interesting about thinking about really important stuff, about core values, about having a second chance, about creating all this very inspirational thing. And all I want to say is be the most you that you could be, right? Because yes, it's great to look at Amber, it's great to look at other people. But I really believe there's not an arrival point. We need a big investment on our energy, of our resources, of our time, is to like really focus on becoming more and more on developing that secret sauce. So as much as we develop that, as much as we can get that present, that's what we want to do. And then I want to tell you to go get a copy of Free Your Body. Guys, hook me up, freeyourbodybook.com. They're posting it right there. I need you to go get a copy, possibly get one even for your neighbors and your mom. And sign up for Christmas. I mean, I get it. You may say, like, I don't want them to think like, oh, you want to release weight. Now, this is about freedom. It's about freedom, and we need freedom right now because nobody is giving it out there. There's not something that's magically is going to end and transform in 2021. We need to do the work. We need to do the real work. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you, Patty.
I have a copy for every single member of my team. So I practice what I preach. I'm not just here saying I like Rakel and really I don't care.
I get 2 copies.
I deeply care about this woman. Her message matters. It needs to get out, but we need you to be in action and help us get it out. So please tag some friends below in the chat box. Start a watch party. You simply click the share button, share this on the timeline with your friends, go buy a copy, go follow Rakel. She's amazing. I'm going to let you go to your next speaking engagement, Rakel, but thank you.
Guys. Love you. Bye.